This is The Plot Thickens with Cassie and Amy on SwinRadio. This is Cassie.
This is Amy.
And it's 3 p.m. and you're listening to SwinRadio.
If you guys couldn't hear anything, you gotta let us know.
It was very quiet for me.
That was extremely quiet for me. I don't know.
Can you hear anything at all?
No. What do we got today, Cassie?
Finish reading your line.
It is 3 p.m. and you're listening to The Plot Thickens on SwinRadio.
Alright, you said that.
What did I say?
You say the next one.
Why do I say that? We read and discuss creative writing live on air every Tuesday at 3 p.m. That threw me off so much.
We're very put together today.
Usually I could hear everything happening and I couldn't.
I also gave you like 5 seconds. I was like, by the way, we're on in 30 seconds.
I was like, oh, okay.
Okay. So we're very put together today.
Cassie was berating me because I don't want to go to the beach after this.
I think she's ridiculous for that.
Okay.
It's a very nice sunny day. One of the last we'll get in Melbourne.
That's not true. Thursday's going to be 25.
Thursday doesn't exist.
And that's the weather report for today.
And that's today's weather report, you know. It's hot today, but the beach will be empty.
Yes. What have we got today?
Today, we have a creative writing story called Willhurst, Kentucky. This is by Erin Kavanagh, creative writing student at Swinburne. I don't know what else we can say.
She did not give us a synopsis. She didn't give us anything. She just said, go for it. So
yeah, go at it.
Go at it. Sorry, go at it.
So we're about to go at it. We're about to be harsh. No, we're not. we
It is a story about a missing girl and the sheriff who has to find her.
Spoilers. Jesus Christ.
It's like one of the first lines in the story.
What's the point of reading it
All right, go, Cassie.
now? Willhurst, Kentucky by Erin Kavanagh. The porch creaks while the light above the door flickers. It's late. Too late to be doing a house call like this, but when a young girl goes missing in a town where nothing of interest ever happens, it's expected of me to do something about it. And quickly. Faith Pickering has been missing for almost 15 hours, and time is running out. After 24 hours, the likelihood of safely recovering a missing child lowers drastically, and by the 48 hours, it becomes almost impossible to solve the case. I haven't dealt with a missing persons case in over 20 years. When I lived in New York City as a cop in my early 20s. There, it felt like someone went missing every 5 minutes, but we only had half the time. Here, my job revolves around traffic tickets and petty theft, and it works for me. It means I got to take it easy after the accident I had when I was 23, where I was shot through my leg investigating a drug cartel smuggling cocaine into the US through cargo ships in New Jersey. After that, my police captain relocated me to Willhurst, Kentucky, population 5,392, God willing, and it would not be going down one tonight with young Faye Pickering. Her mother had visited me before 10 this morning, concerned because Faye hadn't shown up that morning to school. She left home at 8:30 and never arrived at her destination. This house, belonging to Mike White, is due for a fresh coat of paint, splintering wood planks nailed across smashed windows. I knock again, and there is still no response. The lit cigarette hanging from my lips is the only light around. We are far from the rest of the town for any street lamps to illuminate the depleting building, and the smoke is starting to burn the back of my throat as it burns down to the filter. Mike, it's Sheriff Evans. My voice comes out raspy than expected. Come open this door. We need to talk. Many mornings in the past, I'd found Mike lying on the benches, or sometimes the sidewalk, out the front of Whistle's Tavern, Willhurst's only pub, where Mike was a regular most nights. He's a diagnosed schizophrenic and spent most of his life being taken care of by his mother, so when she died 3 years ago, Mike had no one around to support him. When those disability checks came in the mail, he was at Whistler's within the hour. With no family around, his well-being often solely rests on me, and it's my job to get him home to safety. He's often harmless, but more than once I've had to break up fights where he's off his medication, or concerned neighbors call me to check in when they overhear his screams. I wouldn't have thought he had anything to do with the Faye disappearance if he hadn't been the last one with her. Only half an hour ago, Mrs. Brooks stopped by the station to tell me that she had heard from Faye's family about her going missing, and told me she had walked past Faye this morning while on her way to school.
She's a lovely young girl. She said, "Good morning, Mrs. Brooks," as we passed each other. But she was worried about being late to school, so she didn't stop. Not a minute later, I seen that drunk bum, Mike White, trailing behind her. I bet he was following her. He had that crazy look in his eyes, the same one he had that night he punched Pastor John at Whistler's Tavern. He's crazy.
While I'm prone to a drink after a day on the job, it's true that Mike was known as the town drunk, and most people didn't like him for it. The night he attacked Pastor John was in the middle of an episode, and he spent the night at the station. That was the night he informed me of his struggles with schizophrenia. I don't think that means he necessarily had something to do with this case, but it's my job to investigate, regardless of my own personal suspicions. Mike, I strike the door harder now. Usually by this time of night, he would be 3 pints deep down at Whistler's, but I had already stopped by there, and Clint behind the bar had told me he hadn't seen Mike tonight. Before I arrived at his house, I stayed for a beer, and Clint mentioned he actually hadn't seen Mike all week. "Mike, I know you're in there. If you don't open this door, I will come in." A few minutes later, after enduring silence, I turn the knob on Mike's door, and am surprised to find it unlocked. "I'm coming in." I call into the dark house, one I have been inside many times before, but never this far inside. There is a distinct smell of mildew on the stale air, with no airflow coming through the boarded windows. I have to watch my footing to avoid standing on the broken glass from beer bottles, some that evidently weren't even empty when Mike threw them, due to the sticky residue on the scratched floorboards. The house was even smaller than I anticipated from the outside. To my left was a compact kitchen with only 3 cabinets and a minuscule oven and stovetop. The sink was filled with dirty dishes, empty bottles, and trash. And to my right was a small lounge area with a threadbare velvet couch and a bulky television sitting on the floor in the corner of the room. Between each room is a rickety staircase, and despite how unstable they appear, I head upstairs, searching for Mike. "Mike!" My voice is lower now as I reach the top of the stairs and enter a room with a small mattress in the corner, one thin blanket balled up on the end. Moonlight streams through the hole in my ceiling. Moonlight streams in through a hole in the ceiling, and before I knew it was happening, I'm on the floor with hands around my throat. I toss Mike to the ground, and he flails around for a moment before jumping to his feet and whipping a concealed weapon from out of his back pocket. He holds the gun out, pointed at my head, and I notice in the dim lighting the size of his pupils. They are twice the size they should be, and he's shaking. Not a light tremble, but his whole body is almost vibrating. He smells as if he hadn't showered in a week, and his hair sticks out at all angles, assisted by the oils that have been accumulated since his last wash. "What are you doing, Mike?" I raise my hands and take slow steps back as Mike tightens his grip at the handgun. "You're looking for her." His voice wavers with uncertainty, and his left eye twitches. His feet are bare and covered in a thick layer of dirt, dust, and dry blood around a small shard of broken glass sticking out of his big toe. "Looking for who, Mike? Faye picking?" I watch Mike shuffle side to side erratically. He doesn't say anything, but his eyes widen as though I have said something he recognizes. "Do you know where Faye is, Mike?" Mike's hands falter, and the gun lowers slightly before he quickly realigns it with my head, his own shaking slightly. "He was going to hurt her," he rasps. "Who? Who was going to hurt her?" I step closer to Mike, and he stumbles back. He told me something was going to happen to her, so I followed her to stop him from hurting her. I was trying to protect her." His words are slurring together slightly, and he seems upset, almost remorseful. "Mike, who told you Faye was in danger?" The confused man in front of me stares forward, his eyes unseeing, before pointing to something behind me, so I turn around and come face to face with the wall behind me. Confused, I glare back at Mike, who is staring past me at the wall, trembling, more frightened than he was before. "I'm sorry," he stammers, stepping back from the wall. "Who are you talking?"
I just need to say, because we forgot to do a trigger warning before we started.
Oh, sorry.
Trigger warning for suicide.
And gun violence.
Continue.
"I'm sorry," he stammers, stepping back from the wall. "Who are you talking to, Mike?" It's almost as though he can't hear me, muttering to himself, or to something I cannot see. "I'm sorry, I couldn't let you hurt her. You hurt her. I had to save her." Then he looked at me. I couldn't save her, though. Before I have a moment to react, Mike lifts the gun to his own head and pulls the trigger. Faye's body was discovered the next morning, face down in the creek behind her school. The autopsy report shows no signs of foul play. She had simply slipped and fallen down the hill and drowned herself on the way to school. She may have been less careful trying to get in the building as quickly as she could, trying to run away from men following her. Even if Mike was well-intentioned, perhaps he was the reason she died anyway, or maybe she would have drowned either way.
Sorry for the
Sorry for the
spoiler.
late trigger warning, guys.
Sorry.
That one's on us.
I completely forgot.
Me too. I forgot where that story was heading.
Yeah, I forgot as well. My bad, guys.
I just felt a graze my shoulder.
I just gently placed my hand on Cassie's shoulder.
For a moment, I thought, because I was doing like a voice.
You thought I got like way too into it.
Yeah, I thought like, because I was doing a voice for Mike. No, yeah, for Mike. I was like, I'm sorry. I thought Amy was just grazing my shoulder to like.
Hey, it's okay.
It's okay. I was like, what? I was like,
what do you want?
What? I'm acting. I'm in the middle of my performance. Sorry, we're taking away from how good the story is.
Yeah, my bad, guys.
Yes, that was Willhurst, Kentucky. Erin Kavanagh.
By Erin Kavanagh.
Very, very good story. And I was actually going to say a lot of my stuff is pretty nitpicky because I love the majority of the story.
Yeah.
A lot of the structure, I love. A lot of the like the sentences, I love. But let's get into the main stuff, and I think we might have similar things.
Yeah, which is a lot of mine centers around show not tell.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Specifically, in the scene where he's entering the house, I would say that's the strongest indication we have of that.
Yeah.
Where the house is in complete disarray. And I know we do get sensory language, but I would have loved even more sensory language.
Yeah.
Specifically to how it smelt. Because when he entered,
Yes.
it was the smell of mildew on stale air. If you're too concerned about having too many things of smell, I would remove that and instead replace it with how like suffocating it almost feels. Because I don't know if anyone's been inside a house of someone who is severely mentally ill, but the smell is like thick, like you can't breathe. And especially in a small town where people smoke and drink,
Yeah.
it wouldn't smell like stale, it would actually smell thick and
stuffy.
sticky and warm. And all those things to show that this person has like completely destroyed this space.
Yeah.
And like really, really lean into that more. But that whole part of describing the house to show the unstable mental state of Mike, who owns it, I would have loved to see that throughout the rest of the piece.
Yeah, I feel like that was a very strong point in the story. Yeah, and it just would have been nice to see it throughout, because I feel like, because for me, obviously it's Willhurst, Kentucky. I feel like this piece would be so good if there was more atmosphere, because you've already set the location, you've already established that it's a small town, like it's a bit like hicky, like, you know, like redneck kind of ish. I feel like adding description throughout, like for Mike's house, I feel like would really add to that atmosphere.
Or even Mike himself, like it describes when he sees Mike,
his unwashed hair and everything.
His unwashed hair.
Yeah.
But even more of that, like if he's sweating profusely, like stuff like that. It says like it smells like he hadn't washed in days, but like, does it actually smell of like blood? Obviously he was near Faye when she fell, or if she fell into the creek and he followed into the creek, he would smell like a swamp or like stuff like that. Has he been drinking? These like other descriptions that can be used to show, instead of just like his hair was sticking out all over the place. Because as good as a description as it is, it's like pretty basic and standard. When I feel like when a story does have like sensory description earlier in the story, but it's like lacking it more later in the story. There's a very noticeable lack of it. It's very noticeable that like it could be pushed further. If that makes sense. Is there any part that you think in particular would really benefit from having sensory language?
I'm just reading my notes.
Yeah, because for me, it's almost like the beginning when the porch light, literally the open line, the porch creaks and the light above the door flickers, like, and kind of in those moments when you're setting up the house, like, because the sentences are very, well, the paragraphs are very big, in my opinion, and maybe this is just because I struggle with dyslexia, so reading huge paragraphs for me is challenging. But the paragraphs are very long, so I feel like it almost would have benefited from having more paragraphs, and then within every paragraph kind of exploring, or at least in the opening scene, kind of exploring like where we are in the night. It does say it's late, but like how late? There was a lot of points in the story where it started a description, but I was wondering like actually wanted a little more detail into it. For like example, how old is the main character?
Yeah.
Because that sets up like everything about his character, like how old he is. It says he was young in New York City when he was 23, but how old is he now? Is he like actually a part of this town? Has he been welcomed into this town, or is he still like an outsider?
Do people still not like trust him enough, especially with a case as big as this?
Especially if he's the police captain, and then if this girl is from the town, is there like a level that he feels he owes to the town to prove that he can be the police captain, or is he like in the town and he sees this girl as like, you know, his own flesh and blood, the way people in small towns do? Like, what's the level of that in the story? And also like his level of resigned, like how resigned he is to his job. Like, is he expecting the worst? Is he expecting her to be dead? I feel like the character kind of lacks depth, in my opinion, a little bit. I didn't really feel, does he care if the girl is dead? Like, does he, I didn't get a sense that he like really cared. So in my head, he was kind of just resigned to the fact that people die all the time. But I also didn't get that from his character as well.
I feel like that would be an interesting part of his character, though. If he's already from like New York, like if he's worked in New York before, a part of him would be like, this happens all the time. Like, come on, guys.
He's
and then,
like immune to it.
But all of the people in the town would be freaking out.
Yeah, because this never happens. He said he's been here a while, but
so it could be cool to see that emotional journey in him, to be like, oh yeah, I'm not like in a big city anymore. Like,
yeah, I haven't met. I guess it implies that he's like 23. Haven't dealt with a missing persons in 20 years. So he's like 43, roughly. And then another thing, age. I also really wanted to know how old Faye was, because that was never described, because I feel like there's something very different between like, because we know she's a minor, but I feel like there's something very different between a 7-year-old going missing and a 15-year-old going missing.
Yeah.
Like the sense of urgency in that even. And it doesn't even have to really go into Faye too much. But if you wanted to even just describe Faye's place within the community, like if she's like a staple student, you could be like, young Faye Pickering who started middle school this year, or like Faye Pickering, the champion of the Willhurst High's debate club.
She won the cake baking contest last spring.
Well, more something that is an indication of age, which is what I was trying to do.
I just thought that would be fun.
The cake baking. She made cakes. But something like cements her like kind of who she is in the town, to show that like small town, everyone cares about her as well thing.
And everyone knows her.
Yeah, but then also her age, so you know the level of like urgency that we are within this case. Because it doesn't say her age at all. So like in my head, she was like 7, but it wasn't until I got to the end that I realized like she could be like 16.
Yeah, I got like 10 years old.
Yeah, because no one's being like, she ran away, which is common in like teenage angst.
Yeah.
Or like the common like excuse used when they go missing. But some more into that as well, especially if we're following a police sheriff protagonist.
Yeah.
To not get that like kind of insight, I felt
on the town that you're supposed to know.
On the town and on like the more detective case, which is I feel the interesting part of following the sheriff. It kind of feels like his character is a little bit one note. He's kind of just like going through the motions of being like, this is what happened, and then I walked here, and then I did this, instead of like learning the story through him actually thinking about the story.
She won the spelling bee contest last week,
and
now she may never win one again. Damn, I should have read this piece.
Yeah, you could have done your country accent.
Damn it!
Could have pulled it out. One day you can read with your country accent.
Yay!
It'll happen. But yeah, just more personality into that main character, especially if he is also kind of taking on a parental or a caretaker role towards Mike. In this town where like nobody likes Mike, but he's like, sometimes I'm the only person looking out for him.
Why does he have that?
Why is it that way? Is it because he's the police sheriff? But
does he have a family member with schizophrenia, so he knows how it feels, and he's had to move away from said family member because of this job?
Like, what's the level of care that he feels towards the people in the town? And if he does care so much for the people in the town, like he cares for Mike, why is his, like, care of Faye, like, very downplayed and not stressed within his own head when he's worrying about her going missing? Kind of those inconsistencies with the character of, like, how do you actually want to set the character up? Because
it is a little bit, like, obviously he's very freaked out about it because he's like, I only have, like, so many hours until it's, like, statistically.
But even that to me doesn't feel like panic. It just feels like...
But also, he stopped at, like, Clint's bar and just stopped and had a drink.
Yeah.
Like, that also... Also, I feel like I did the maths on the time that was said in the story. Currently, he'd be going to the house at 1 in the morning. He'd be going to Mike's house at 1 in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mike.
So just wondering if that works, or if, like, maybe a 10 p.m. time works more, because...
Is it the moonlight was shining? So it could be anywhere after nightfall until sunrise.
It could. It's also just more of, like, a... Should he really be knocking on someone's door at, like, 1 in the morning?
That could be a reason why he wasn't opening the door, I suppose. But then it needs to establish clearer that it is way too late, instead of just saying, like, because there was a line, it's too late to be doing a house call like this. But like I said again, that leaves so much room for interpretation. How late actually is it? Is it 9 p.m.? Is it 12 o'clock? Is it 1 a.m.?
Yeah.
More like, and you don't even need to go too into specifics, but a little more specific so we have a clear idea of like the foundation of the scene that we're in and the time and the people before we start actually having the character development and like the story progress. Because even with, like you said, he stopped off to have a drink with Clint, that could be a level of like drinking to calm his nerves because he's so worried, but it's not written anywhere, so it just comes off as him just stopping to have a drink.
And it also says he stops for like a whole hour as well.
It's trying to get sober after that drink. Yeah, so to me the character felt a little unclear. I didn't feel like I was reading like a intelligent but worried and like man who had like been like seen the worst of humanity, and like, because to me like the ideal of what this character could have been is a man who has seen the worst of everything in New York and has now come to this small town and feels like he finally has like a grasp over something that he can control and protect, and now something is again threatening that.
Yeah.
And he's like not willing to like let it go. But in the reality of the character that's written, it's a character who feels very flat and stale in comparison to that.
Yeah,
Who's not reached that potential because he doesn't seem like he's saying he cares, but I don't see any actions or any thoughts that really show that he has personal stakes in the rest of these people's lives the way people do in small towns.
Yeah. I also wrote some notes because there are like particular parts where he does appear emotionally intelligent. Like he's very aware of the people in the town, how they feel about other people and stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot of lines where that can be elevated more, especially I've got one here because there's a line about how like Mike is known as the town drunk, which I feel like is a very good line to like establish how everyone else feels about Mike. But I feel like if he does feel this sort of duty of care for Mike, I feel like it would be interesting for him to like say something similar to they didn't like him because they were drinking, because he was drinking, but I don't think they're a good judge of character. I've seen the way this town drinks. Because it's a small town as well.
It's a small town. And also, the line right before it said Mike is the town drunk is, while I'm prone to a drink on the job. Like, it sets up that, like, he isn't the perfect person when it comes to alcohol as well. Like,
Yeah, Mike is just the punching bag.
yeah, which is, like, leans into, like, why is he the punching bag? Because it also says that Mike opened up to him about his schizophrenia. This implies that he didn't know beforehand, or it's kind of like an unknown that he has schizophrenia, that maybe he just, like, is mentally unwell and people recognize that, but people don't know he has schizophrenia. So, like, what's the level of the town hating on Mike?
Yeah.
As well. Like, how actually isolated is he?
I mean, we can see from Mrs. Brooks that there
No one
is
likes him.
obviously that resentment where she's like,
Yeah.
the lazy old bum, like, he's crazy. Like,
That also brings me, and I hate, this is so nitpicky. This is the most nitpicky thing
Okay.
I've ever gotten on this. But to me as well, it doesn't make sense geographically, because Mike's house is very far away from the rest of the town. That's established as well. So how is he drinking and then getting all the way back to his place? Because he doesn't have a car.
because he sleeps on the benches outside the front of the bar.
That is correct. But then he walks all the way back to his house.
Yeah.
I guess.
I do the same.
It just kind of, like, threw me for a second.
Right,
was
okay,
like-
yeah. I guess just more emphasis on, he's, like, wandering around town, like, in the mornings. We're all getting up to get ready for work, and he's stumbling home.
stumbling
like, that sort of
home.
thing, yeah. I feel like that would be good.
Yeah. But the way it made it seem is, like, that he was, like, really out of town. So, but maybe I'm reading into it, and, like, I'm seeing something that's not there as well.
I don't know. But also, I had a part about Mrs. Brooks' dialogue as well, which is that it is a very long line of dialogue, which it can work, but...
I was actually going to say as well, when you were reading it, there was a moment where I was going to cut you off because I thought you had read beyond your line.
Oh, right.
You kept going, and I realized, like, no, this is the whole line.
Yeah.
Which
Is it at the very start, or...?
No, when you were reading Mrs. Brooks' line.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way to have dialogue in a story that doesn't have a lot of dialogue, and I'm actually not necessarily opposed to it. I cut you off before you could say too much into it. Sorry.
I was just going to say that I'm not also necessarily opposed to long lines of dialogue. I just feel in this instance, just like I always say, I feel like it can afford to be broken up with comments on her body language. And I've got, like, she, like, tutted, like she went, or she gripped at her purse or something like that.
Yeah.
Something that shows the anger that she feels towards Mike.
Especially if this is the only character that we interact with of the town.
Yeah.
So in a way, Mrs. Brooks, like, has to represent
she's
the entire town, the mindset of the entire town. So in her dialogue, she has to represent how people are feeling about Faye, how people are feeling about Mike, and how people are feeling about the sheriff being the one to, like, investigate it.
I feel like even, like, comments on maybe, like, what she's wearing, because it could be, they're a small town, but you know what, some of them might want to dress more proper, like, dress themselves up to feel normal, and then compare themselves to, like, Mike, who's, like, in...
like rags and smelling.
And doesn't take care of himself. Like, even something like that to already within a small town, like, make the social classes more distinct.
Yeah, of, like, poverty and, like, more high society.
Yeah.
Which also takes us into, we don't know when this is set.
We don't.
I don't mind that. I don't think it's necessarily important in this kind of story. It does feel like it's kind of set in the 2010s, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I got, like, 70s.
Oh, really? I feel like I'm always thinking it's super
I'm always thinking it's the 70s or the 60s.
What made you think 70s?
I don't know. I feel like
Is it
I
the cigarette?
always... No, not necessarily. I mean, I guess it's just, like, the vibe I got. Like, I got, like, you know, like, Mrs. Brooks in, like, her little frock, and, like, she's clutching, like, her purse, and she's got her little pearls, and, like, she's like, oh, that damn bum.
I think it being, like, 20 years ago in New Jersey, and them talking about, like, the drug cartel and stuff.
Oh,
made me think
yeah.
that was, like, more the 80s, and, like, you know, 80s, 70s, 80s. So now it's, like, 2000s.
Yeah, I
2010s.
wasn't thinking that hard about it.
Because otherwise
you
it'd
make
be,
a
like,
good point.
the 50s. The
Yeah.
U.S. drug cartel in the 50s.
Oh, don't I know it well.
Which I'm sure exists. Let's not talk about that still. I'm sure it existed, but the way that it's talked about with very, like, such normalcy and all that stuff.
I also had another comment just on Mrs. Brooks' dialogue, is that the entire piece of dialogue is put in double quotations, but then there is also another quotation in it that is also double quotation. The quotation within the big quotation, I feel like should be single quotation, just to distinguish between the two. Do you want to get it up so I can...
Yeah. Oh, this.
Yeah.
That's where I thought the end of the dialogue was.
Yeah. She's a lovely young girl. She said, "Good morning, Mrs. Brooks," which is in double quotations, which I feel like, just to make it easier, italics or single quotation would just make it easier to read.
The proper way to do it in Australia is to have single quotations as actual speaking lines, actual lines of dialogue, and double quotations as dialogue within dialogue.
But who's listening to that?
But no one's listening to that. But grammatically, that is, in Australia, that's how it's done.
This is the writing age of doing whatever the hell you want.
Well, yeah, I'm also
it.
Opposed to the single quotation.
Yeah, it just doesn't look as good.
It doesn't look nice. So, like, I respect the double, you know, breaking the mold, breaking free from what's expected.
No, I stand with respecting the double.
Me too. Bring the double back. Yeah, I feel like another one of my big things is where the sentences were too long. And, like, there are a lot of times where sentences take up, like, almost 3 whole lines within a page.
Yeah.
And they just have a lot of commas, and it's just dragged on really far, and I kind of lose track of where I am in a sentence, especially when it does go on that long.
Yeah, which, again, listening to this, you can probably pick up. When that happens, reading it out loud to yourself. I feel like I've said this so many times. Reading your own story out loud to yourself is
because
really
I'll give a line, because I don't like to say something without using an example.
Yeah.
Because it feels useless. So a line that I highlighted was right at the beginning. It was, it means I gotta take it easy after the accident I had when I was 23, where I was shot in my leg investigating a drug cartel smuggling cocaine into the US through cargo ships in New Jersey. That's like a very long line.
Which you could just fix by, it means I have to take it easy after the accident I had when I was 23, full stop. I was shot through my leg investigating a drug cartel.
Yeah, so that can be broken up into like 2, maybe 3 sentences with commas in between the sentences, rather than a full sentence and a single comma, because you kind of lose track where you are. And to me, like, you don't even need to lose it, because I think it's kind of important, because it sets where we are on the timeline. Like, I know we have different, like, thoughts about when, like, this is, like, what year this is in. But to me, that's the line that kind of sets this as, like, back in the day, it was, like, the 70s and 80s of, like, New York City, and now it's more, like, 2000s. So to keep that, to have, like, some kind of timeline is fine. You don't need to get rid of the sentence. But to just break the sentences up a little bit more, so they're not, like, dragging on, and, like, reading it, you're not, like, lost on the page, especially if they do go so long.
Yeah. I actually did have a few comments about the first sentence, the first, like, paragraph.
Yes.
I feel like, obviously, this is a short story. I don't really know where Erin is going with it, if it's going to be put into, like, a longer form story. I feel like the injury that Sheriff Evans got, I feel like that would benefit the story more if it was, like, left like a mystery. I feel like that would be fun, instead of so much. Why is the not exposition. There's so much explanation at the start.
Yeah.
And it doesn't leave much up to the imagination, which just goes back to the show not tell.
It also feel like the injury in the leg is a little useless.
Because it doesn't come up.
It doesn't come up later in the story. If it did come up during the fight between Mike and Sheriff Evans, like, if that was a reason why he was knocked off his feet or a reason why he couldn't get up. I know he does get up at some point because he walks backwards, even though it doesn't say he gets up, which is fine. You don't need to write every single line of it. But it could be like, it could play into that, where maybe he's not able to get up or he struggles getting up, and that's why he like falters helping Mike. And if this story did go somewhere later, or if more was added to it later, because this is only 1,500 words, it's very, very short, there could be a level of like feeling guilt that he wasn't able to save Mike, because it does establish he has this kind of protectiveness over him, especially because no one else in his family is looking out for him. So if his leg acting up is a reason why he wasn't at his game, why he couldn't get up, why he couldn't stop Mike from shooting himself in the face, that level of like guilt could be something interesting to explore, like the level of like not being able to save Faye and not being able to save Mike, because that's kind of like at the end one of the kind of questions of the story is, was Faye always going to die, or did she die because Mike was following her? So that kind of question of like, do you actually, like, do the choices we make actually affect anything? That could be something interesting to carry through. It's like, if I didn't save Faye, then, like, I couldn't even save Mike. Like, was it a one or the other, and did I lose both?
Yeah, which is also, there's a line at the very start. I can't find it, but it's something to do with that as well.
God willing, it will not go down one.
Yes. That one.
The line is, God willing, it will not be going down one tonight with young Faye Pickering.
And then it ended up being 2. Which is great foreshadowing. I like that a lot.
But that line is so hard to read. I don't have any advice on how to make it less tricky to read, but like just trying to read it out loud, I get tongue-tied. And maybe that's just me. Do you want to try read it? Like the...
God willing, it will not be going down by 1 tonight with young Faye Pickering.
Did you read that easily?
A little bit.
Yeah, okay. So it's just me. Shout out to people with dyslexia. I feel like I stumbled a lot through this story. I was struggling.
You did a little bit. I don't remember what word you used instead, but I think one of the words was dilapidated.
One of them was completely wrong. It was in the description of the house. Let me actually go back and like right my wrongs. It was in the description of the house. I know exactly the line that you're talking about.
I think you'll if you want to watch this this episode that we film, you can watch it on Sway's Jesus on YouTube.com. But if you do like look back at it, when you say that, you can just see me like shaking my head next to you.
You can also see me like moving up to the line and knowing that it's incorrect. It starts with a D.
You start sweating.
No, you can see me like dilapidated building. Dilapidated. I did not say. I think I said
deliberating.
Deliberating or something. But I knew I wasn't going to get it, and I'd already stumbled, so I knew I couldn't do it twice. I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen. I had to commit and be wrong. Which, by the way, the bar being called Whistlers, I don't know if it's called Whistlers, but I said Whistlers the first time, and then I didn't look at the word again.
I'm pretty sure it's Whistlers.
And I was just committed to it being Whistlers, so if it's not Whistlers...
Sorry.
Oh, it is Whistlers. Okay,
yeah.
I'm very confidently wrong this whole story, which, side note, was maybe going to be maybe one of the runner-up names for this podcast.
What?
Confidently wrong.
Oh, yeah. It was going to be like all the wrong opinions or something. And we were like, that sounds like a far-right podcast, actually. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
A politically incorrect podcast.
Because, we don't know what we're talking about.
No, and that's the thing. We'd need to make it very clear. Hey, you don't have to take any of our advice.
You can absolutely disagree with any of us. Actually, that's why I like disagreeing with you and a lot of stuff. It's really interesting to hear the other perspectives. So give me something we can disagree on. Give me another one of your things.
I don't know if we're going to disagree on it. But my thing is that I feel like in the first scene, going back to that, where we get a lot of background info on the sheriff, I feel like you could afford to cut out so much of that in order, because if there's a word limit on this, because I think this was for an assignment, if there is a word limit on this piece, you can afford to cut out so much about the sheriff, because there already isn't enough substance to him throughout the story. You can afford to leave that to the fight with Mike. Keep those words, build the emotional like roller coaster towards it, because it is kind of just like boom, 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 done. Yeah,
it does feel like the start is very heavy, and then the rest of it is very quick.
Yeah.
Like, even in, like, how long the sentences are, which I know is, like, a ridiculous thing to kind of say, but the story starts with the sentences and paragraphs being very long and detailed, and then by the end, it's like, I'm sorry, he stammered, stepping back, who are you talking to? It's like he can't hear me. Like, it's very quick, and you don't actually get any of that description anymore, which is something we said in the beginning, where we lose that sensory description later, and I think that's because she was hitting the word count.
Yeah.
So in those moments, it's okay to lose some of the stuff that, like, feels like you're setting up the character, because in a short story, you actually don't have that much time to explore the character.
Yeah.
And right now, I feel like it's ill-placed. Instead of learning his backstory, like you said, it would be interesting to actually set up the parts that we were interested in, which was his relationship with Mike and the kind of downfall of that, which is what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And I feel like, as well, because it is a short story, and also, man, screw word counts. Like,
yeah.
But if it is such a short story, cut out some characters, because there's a lot of characters in here for a short story, I feel like. You could probably afford to either merge the location of Mrs. Brooks and the Whistler Bar, because they're currently in two different places.
I feel like you can cut Mrs. Brooks altogether.
Really?
Mrs. Brooks...
Would you have, like, Clint talk about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, like I said before, Mrs. Brooks as a character is establishing the entire mindset of the entire town. That is not specific to Mrs. Brooks. That is an entire town's opinion put on one character. That can be so easily
Which is perfect for a bartender.
That can be so easily done at the bar from Clint.
But the only distinction there is why does a bartender know, like, what a young girl is up to? Like, maybe it's like in the mornings it's like a cafe, or like...
But it could even be like Mrs. Brooks told Clint. When Mrs. Brooks was in there, she said,
yeah.
I heard from blah blah's mum. Like, this is a bartender, someone who, you know, a character that is used all the time in stories and fiction and shows, to someone who sees everything.
Yeah,
People
and is like
tell
the
him
messenger.
Their woes and troubles. Yeah. He's kind of like, you know, Hermes in a way. Modern day Hermes, deliverer of messages. Like, those kinds of characters unanimously in media are set up to be the ones giving information.
Yeah.
They're always the ones receiving information.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes him a perfect character to set up the mindset of the town.
Yeah, and also because that also gives him the unbiased sort of view on Mike as well.
Yeah, because Mike's able to also...
Mike also goes to the bar, just like everyone else does, and he has to treat him just the same as all the other customers.
And I feel like if you get rid of other stuff, you've got more room for the bartender and the sheriff to actually have a conversation.
Yeah, because...
like, actual dialogue.
And the sheriff already talks about how he stops and, like, drinks on the job sometimes, so clearly he's, like, familiar with Clint.
Yeah, and even the whole, like, stumbling through town thing can be the bartender being like, oh, I had to kick him out. Like, I haven't seen him since I kicked him out last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like, slurring and all that stuff. And that's another place where you can put that to just move stuff around if you're trying to really hit this word limit.
Yeah.
But now we're going into word limits. God, I hate word limits. The actual bane of my existence.
I know. Yeah.
Because, like, I'm critiquing all this, but I feel it.
Yeah.
I see where she took words out and sentences out, and I feel it so much.
It's like when you start the assignment and you're just like, yeah, getting into it, like the start of this is awesome, and then you get to the end and it's like, oh, I have 500 words left.
She said, he said, this happened,
happened, okay, we're done.
Which is why I hate that one of my last pieces of critique is the end is so quick. Yeah. And I'm such a fan of a, like, gut punch moment, but this is too quick.
Or needs to be more.
Discovered.
Which is why I'm saying I feel like more needs to be cut out at the start to leave words for a bigger gut punch at the end.
I agree, because Faye's death felt very impersonal. It kind of felt like the whole story I was reading, I was feeling that it was super impersonal from the perspective of the narrator, the sheriff.
Yeah.
And this just really packed it in, where I was like, this feels too impersonal, where it's like, this is a small town where everyone knows each other. I should feel the heartbreak and the care of the town through this. Like, and you can set that through so many different ways. You can set it through the weather or the townspeople or anything to show the shock of the town to this awful news. And especially this question where it's like, does it matter either way? Like, would she have died either way? That's a really interesting question to pose.
Yeah.
As this like whole fate and intervention question is like, if Mike wasn't following her to protect her, would she still have died?
Yeah.
Like, that's a really interesting thing to set up, but it's all done in the last paragraph, which is like 89 words.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't actually leave room for me to care because it feels like the town doesn't care.
Right, yeah. Or it just feels like the sheriff doesn't care, which is the most important perspective because that is the narrator. Yeah.
Where it feels like the sheriff cares very little.
Even if there were like a few descriptions while it's like who was going to hurt her? Like, maybe the sheriff feels like his heart like plummeted into his chest thinking about what could have happened to like poor sweet like Faye Pickering.
Yeah, especially if it's like he was talking before how he doesn't actually think Mike did it. There could be a moment of him being like, am I wrong?
Yeah.
Is my bias against me? And have I been justifying a murderer to myself because I feel sorry for him?
Yeah.
This kind of level of like guilt and sickening that he like kind of took Mike under his wing and now he's believing that he did this horrible thing. Yeah. After being the only one in the town that believes in him.
Yeah.
Like some level of that
he's
I feel is missing from the story.
And was this redneck hick town right all along?
Was I wrong for trusting in people?
God damn it, Mama was always right.
The city of New York should have told me better. I don't know what accent I did there.
Yeah. Hey, I wasn't gonna say anything. I had something to say about Because I want to say something before you say something.
I started talking first.
Yeah, I started. My turn. The line, and he flails around for a moment before jumping to his feet and whipping a concealed weapon out of his back pocket. He holds the gun out. I feel like there is so much opportunity there for mystery in that sentence.
Yeah, like what the weapon is.
Because it's like, it's a concealed weapon. Like, it's a gun. Like, I feel like some more oomph to that. Like, the click of...
Especially because the scene of the gun points feels like it's supposed to be a shock moment.
Yeah.
But there was actually no build-up. So it could be the glint of metal, like you said, the click of something. And then in the moonlight, he finally sees the gun.
Yeah.
Or like
is
he
there
actually
a gun in your
fires
pocket, or
a bullet behind someone. And that's like a shock moment. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
No.
What did you say?
I was just going to say, is there a gun in your pocket, or are you happy to see me?
Why do I give you opportunities to talk?
Sorry, I'll shut up.
No.
You hate me.
That was a really good joke.
Thank you.
Everyone take a moment to...
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks.
Everyone was really proud of your joke.
Oh, thank you.
Like, I feel like more build-up.
Yes. Which is what I was talking about before, is that there needs to be so much more emotional build-up in this entire scene.
Yeah, this feels like the pivotal moment. Like the... Forgive me, the climax of the story.
Okay, the climax, okay.
Okay, you've made it weird.
I made it weird before.
And it just feels empty. Like, I don't feel any emotions from any of the characters.
Yeah.
Which I've said that 100 times over, so I'm sorry for, like, really.
But
it does feel like the weak part of this story.
It is simply because the entire scene is kind of like, he said this, she said this. Yeah, I did this, he did this.
Especially after like so much build up in the beginning, to have an end that feels so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
It feels like a bit of a waste of the story because like I know the author can write amazing descriptions.
Yeah.
I kind of feel a little bit betrayed in a sense because I'm like, I know you
that,
can
Erin?
do these amazing sensory descriptions.
Yeah.
Why didn't you? And like logically I know word count, but guys, screw the word
There's
count.
so much opportunity to do it.
Yeah, it leaves up to interpretation what I know the story could have been, which is, I guess, why I'm more critical of it. Because it's like I know you could. I feel like Abby Lee Miller, like being like, I know you can do better. Why would you disappoint me this way? Like I feel like
What did she
gaslighting.
You seem good. I'm waiting for you to be better.
Like I feel like a gaslighting, abusive like narcissist
Coach.
stage parent, where I'm like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Oh my god.
But that's kind of how I feel. I'm like,
I mean, because it's a really interesting concept. I mean,
Yeah.
it's always an interesting concept to me. Small town, someone goes missing. What's happening?
yeah, the whodunit of it all, because you know it has to be a character that's already established.
Yeah.
And in this, like, thing, it has to be Mike.
Yeah.
Like, so the sheriff, like, not believing that it's Mike in the beginning is interesting because you know there's a point where he has to turn. Because the interesting part of a whodunit is it's a character that you know. Otherwise, it's boring and it's not interesting.
I feel
so
like
knowing that there will be a moment of him realizing that this person that he's defending and actually takes care of is in the wrong, it sets up this like this amazing emotional scene, but it's just not delivered. So it's like a little disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like as well, again, the atmosphere of the town, I feel like is just not in the story as much as it should be. Even just like little comments about like she isn't even like technically considered like a missing person yet, and they're already dropping like flowers at a memorial for her. Or maybe there's like cries from, you know, schoolgirls that Faye goes to school with, like he can hear them.
Yeah, or the girl's dad is drinking at the bar if you're gonna have a scene at the bar.
Yeah, true.
Like something like that of the town is like really feeling the weight and impact of this girl going missing from the town.
Yeah.
Which is like leads into the disdain. Because like right now the town seems unreasonable for their hatred of Mike. But Mike did kill this girl.
Yeah.
In a way. So like
Yet to be confirmed.
to be confirmed. To sort of feel the actual heartbreak and misery from this town is an interesting way to also show that there's two sides to this story. These people aren't villains because they hate Mike. They're just not understanding that mental illness is like a serious thing.
They're hick town.
They're heck down. These rednecks.
Oh, these damn rednecks.
Bogan.
In my redneck town.
Can we say that?
Bogan?
No, redneck.
Why can't we say that?
I don't know.
It's like
It feels dicey.
it's a term for like white trash. What? Why'd you look at me like that?
I ain't saying nothing.
But I also had a comment as well about Sheriff Evans, is that because at the start he's talking a lot about statistics, and obviously that shows that, you know, he's been in the workforce for a while, like he knows all of this. Yeah, I know. I'm watching it. Don't worry. I'm watching the time.
Sorry, I pointed to the time to show we have 8 minutes left.
Yeah, I know. I feel like this thing about him with statistics I do like it. I feel like it adds a lot to his character. He's serious about his job. Like, this is his life. If it goes consistently throughout the story, I feel like it would work even more. Like, when Mike has his hands around his throat, like, he could be thinking in his head, like, okay, I statistically have this long until, like, I lose this much strength, or, like, I'm gonna pass out. Like, I need to act quickly, or something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I just feel like little aspects of his personality shine through at the start and then are just sort of left towards the end. I feel like keeping them consistent throughout really gives him the depth, his character, this depth that we've been talking about.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of that's able to be done in the fight with Mike, through like you were saying, statistics with like when he would lose oxygen levels.
Yeah.
Or like with, like we were saying before, the injured leg, that acting up.
Yeah.
Like these ways to show his character that are just like lost.
Yeah.
Because he's also like an older man who's like smoking cigarettes and drinking beer on the job.
Yeah, like he's not
in perfect shape.
No.
He's like out of breath. Maybe he's like out of breath going up the stairs, or like.
Yeah, or he says something about like, I can't do it like I used to.
Yeah, like he's kicking down the door and like it kind of hurts his leg a little, and he's like, oh, I remember doing that in my 20s in New York. It was so easy. Like I felt so powerful, and now I feel like rusted and old.
And now I can't even run after this old man. Like
chase him down. Yeah, this like level of like almost feeling useless.
Yeah.
Like this is finally the most important thing he's had to do in a while, and he doesn't even feel at the top of his game anymore. Like that could even play into it, how he feels like he's the wrong person to do it. This level of like not believing in himself, I suppose. Like not believing that he can find this girl. Because also, I feel like I don't even know if the sheriff thinks Faye's alive. There's no indication if he thinks she's alive or dead.
Yeah,
He just kind of says, she's missing, I'm a go to Mike.
It's more like he knows statistically that he needs to hurry up because by the time it hits a certain mark, she's dead.
Yeah, I would have liked more on his internal, like, monologue of what he actually thinks is happening in the case.
Yeah.
And then that leading into him being more either emotional or more, like, logical and statistical. Those parts of his character shining through in him exploring the case.
Yeah. There is also, I'm just going to quickly put this in. There is a line, her mother had visited me just before 10 this morning, concerned because Faye hadn't shown up to school that morning. She left home at 8:30 and never arrived at her destination. I feel like that's just kind of like a bit open-ended, like more context. What the note I've written is more context to why Faye's mum knew that, because like she received like a call from the school, which can also add to what time period we're in. She received a call from the school about Faye's whereabouts, like...
I feel like it's also kind of useless, because then it opens up the door of, like, what did he do all day? It's the middle of the night.
What has he been doing?
What's he been doing since 10 a.m. when he learned and 1 a.m. when he showed up at that guy's house? Like, he had so long
like, maybe...
to do anything.
Faye just didn't come home from school.
Yeah, that would be more
And there was
reasonable.
a miscommunication, because Faye's mum was like, oh, she's at school. And the school was like, oh, like, Faye's at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why no one was looking.
Because it also says that Faye did somewhat make it to school. Like, or she was rushing to school.
She was on her way to school after saying hello to Mrs. Brooks and then never showed up to school.
Yeah, trying to get in the building as quickly. The line at the end, she may have been less careful trying to get in the building as quickly as she could to get away from the man following her. To me, that implies she made it to the school.
Right, and then just, like, died outside of the school.
Yeah, like, right outside. Like, I feel like having the line in the building implies that she made it to some kind of building. And, like, where was she going? School.
Yeah.
So, to me, I would get rid of that building line. Like, trying to get to school, if that's what the writer was trying to imply.
Trying to make her way.
But saying trying to get in the building makes it seem like she did.
She was, like, right there, and then she died in, like, a pond near the school, and just no one saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, some more level of, like, it being isolated, I feel. Yeah. But yeah, all in all, like, I feel like I want to preface that the reason we were so nitpicky with this story is because we liked this story so much, and we felt it was a really strong story. So,
yeah, I mean, again, I love the concept of the story.
I love the concept of the story. I love how it was written. I love the characters.
Yes.
Which to me is why one of the biggest heartbreak is the main character was so flat.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is such a good, interesting character.
But I feel like, yeah, again, like someone foreign from the town coming into the town and having to, like, work.
Yeah.
Is a very fun character
an
to deal with.
outsider having to do the ultimate, like, inside job.
Yeah.
Oh, like, yeah, him feeling that pressure. Like, and I said it before of, like, the idealized character of what I want from this character. Yeah, and I don't know, like, if this is a story that's continuing. I would love to see it continue. Or, like,
I feel like it would be such a strong story if it does continue, and then you don't have to concern yourself with the word count.
I was going to say, even not continue, but just go back and, like, add to it without the word count. Like, have it end at the exact same place, but add more description where you wanted more description, clearly. Because I don't think it's if she ran out of the word count.
She did run out.
She did run out of the word count. I don't know anything about this story. I know she ran out of the word count. This is the most obvious thing in the world to me from someone who writes that she got to the end of this and started deleting sentences.
Yeah. Hey, we all do it.
And we've all been there. and golly.
I did that yesterday.
Me from another me. That one's, do you know that one SpongeBob meme?
Nope.
I see my reflection in your eyes.
Well, that was Willhurst, Kentucky.
Willhurst, Kentucky.
By the lovely Erin Kavanagh.
We have 1 minute on the clock. What do you want to do?
Why did you do that? I was just gonna, like, talk nonsense for a bit. Why did you put me on the spot like that?
What were you gonna talk nonsense about? Come on,
No,
1 minute.
No.
1 minute. Show the crowd. Do you have a special talent you want to show? Do you want to make a joke?
No, I don't.
Why are you so mad?
She put me in the spotlight. I don't like it.
She's giving me the evilest look right now. Tell me a joke to close up this episode.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
I don't.
Okay. And we'll see you next time on the plot for more hilarious.
We'll be better next week.
Yeah.
We've just been fighting again.
No. She wouldn't see a movie with me, and she wouldn't go to the beach with me.
I'm literally seeing the movie tonight. Anyways.
Domestic.
Outro! Spider-Go.
You are listening to SwinRadio.
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 SwinRadio.